All right. I just got a message from Keith that said he had the meeting on his calendar, but he didn't have the link. So maybe other people are in that same situation. I'm going to send him the link.
Okay, great. Thank you, Mary.
Okay.
Does anyone have exciting plans for the weekend? Or is it a stay in and read a book kind of weekend?
I'll promote Chilawi, Virginia is having its apple festival. Oh, sounds like fun.
Well, the Rhino Fire Department's having their shrimp dinner on tomorrow to raise money. How's that?
Mhm.
Well, Carolyn, should we go ahead and get started now?
Sure, I think so. You tell me when you're ready for me to share the screen, and I'll do that.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay.
So, well, good morning, everybody, and happy Friday. And so today we're going to be talking about the transition plan template. And the goal of the template is to ensure a smooth and complete transition of initiatives and reporting on what needs to be done for closeout on October the 31st, 2025. And so Carolyn has pulled up the transition plan template. And as you'll see on that first page, you will add your region number, the primary point of contact, and the date submitted. And after you do that, there will be the executive summary, and you should add any information or details on activities that will require transition or closeout. And this does not have to be anything lengthy, but should be a brief summary. And so now I will turn it over to Carolyn, and she's going to go over the first steps that you're going to need to undertake.
Okay, so this is a schedule kind of for you to follow to help you get all your documents and everything ready to go. So just looking at the activities, the first one, it's going to ask you to start gathering information for your final regional collaborative report. And there is a link in that document that takes you to that final report form. If you have any questions, reach out to Courtney. She'll be glad to help you with that if you have any questions. So we ask that you start soon, October the 1st, gathering your documents and everything for that. And I know some of you probably have already started doing that. You want to compile a list of your transition teams. We'll look at the table. There's a table 1, 2, and 3 on this document, but you'll need to go ahead and put together your transition team and start doing this by October the 8th. Compile a list of all your stakeholder committee members with their names, title, and email addresses. And then the last table will ask you all the employers with their organization name, contact name, and email address. That way, this is a current list of employers that you are working with so that they don't get dropped off and nobody knows what happened to them. You know, we want the flow to keep continuous for them so that they don't know this change is going on. Okay. And then you want to host a final regional stakeholders meeting with me included by October the 17th. And then I'll turn it over to Stacy to do the next part.
Okay. You should mail all VTOP branded items to me. And please send me the tracking information by October the 17th. And when mailing them, please make sure that you put my name on it because we're in a very big building and sometimes mail has trouble reaching us. You may not have any VTOP branded items left, but you should have a runner that we had sent you for the events. If you're close to our office, you can hand deliver the items, but just please make sure that you make arrangements with me beforehand because we have security and the items will not be able to be left at the security desk.
Okay. So on to the next page. So anything on your website that relates to VTOP, your social media, any type of blogs, make them inactive. Don't delete them, but just make them inactive so that people won't have access to it to show that you have connections with VTOP. If you email me your social media handle and your link, just so that we have a copy of all that. And I'll turn it back over to Stacy.
Okay, you should begin the process of returning unspent funds. And this is why you're going to need your grants administrator, but you're also going to need your budget office as well, because your budget office is going to know how to do this in the system. And this should happen by November the 24th. And then by December the 1st, you will need to submit your annual expenditure report for the final year, your comprehensive expenditure report for the full grant period of performance, and submit your final regional collaborative report. And you want to make sure that you complete your monthly tracker for September and October by October the 31st.
And then finally, make sure you schedule a meeting with me so that we can go through this just to make sure you've gotten everything done. If there's any questions, if you can do that before October the 31st, I would appreciate it. Or we can talk about it in our ones and schedule a time to meet then. Okay.
And then you must identify a transition team. And at a minimum, this should be your principal investigator, your regional coordinator, someone, your grants administrator, and definitely someone from your budget office, since they are going to have to be the ones that are going to have to return any unused, unspent funds to us.
And these ABCs and everything, we just put these in as examples. So definitely just delete this off of your, your copy of it. So the stakeholders, so you want to make a list of all of your stakeholders that are on your committee so that we'll have their name, their title, and their email. So, and then the next one is your employer. You want to, like I said, make sure you have all of your employers that you are currently working with that need to be contacted. So this includes their name, their contact, their first and last name, and their email so that we can, connect with them and make sure we're supporting them through all this transition period. And I think that's as far as that. So Stacy, you want to close this out?
Yes, I do see a few questions that have gone into the chat. And you should have already received this document from us, but we can send it out again to make sure that it's at the top of your email. And Jesse, I'm not sure if I answered the question about the transition team. Okay, thank you. And then next question, where are we located? We are actually in the James Monroe building, Samara, and downtown Richmond, which is 101 North 14th Street. Let's see. Here's another question. For the list of employers, are we to only include those that are considering but have not yet been referred to the matching funds program?
So you want to include any of the employers that have started, you've talked to them, they've gone through the modules, any type of contact you have made with them, please include them because we don't want anybody to get left out. And Antoinette, I see you have a confused look on you. So what question do you have?
I'm sorry. I'm just trying to make sure. So, if they've been referred, right, then they're already in the pipeline. So I was just trying to clarify, because I do have employers that maybe have been curious about the program. I've given them the information about it and given them the process steps, but they're still, like they haven't been referred yet because they haven't completed the modules. So I just wanted to make sure that I was clear on which ones you were looking for, because I feel like there's a comprehensive list that Courtney's maintaining of all of our referrals
Mhm.
and even
Yes.
employers who've started
Mhm.
the modules.
Yes, absolutely. So we do have that information. It is employers that maybe are not in the tracking system yet or have not yet been approved. So any employers where they're moving through the pipeline. Does that help? Okay, great.
Oh, and Keith, I'm sorry. I see that I skipped your question. Um, Keith's question is by full report. Do you mean since the first VTOP Regional Collaborative Award, inclusive of all extensions? And yes, that is for all of the expenditures. Let's see, a few more questions, I think. When do we want the transition template completed and returned to us? And Carolyn, I think you'll be discussing that and y'all will be going over that in your meetings with them, correct?
Correct. Yes.
And then I think the last question is from Jesse. And yes, I will be there on October the 14th. So Kimberly, did you have a question? It looked like you were
Yeah,
getting
I
ready to
was
say.
just looking, I was going back to the question to see October the 14th at the conference. Got it.
And are there any other questions? And of course, you can feel free to email us if you have any more questions, because we're definitely here to support you. And we want to thank you for getting on this meeting with us. We really appreciate it.
Yes.
We know it's Friday.
I have a couple more questions. My next collaborative meeting is scheduled for October 22nd, but you all said to do it by the 17th. I'm a little worried that my stakeholders, there might be a challenge getting them before the 22nd, just because that's part of our natural meeting cadence. Is that too late? Do we need to push for it to be rescheduled?
I think that would be fine. I mean,
Okay.
as long as, we've already got it in the books and we know it's going to happen,
Okay. The
we
other
can make note of
question,
that.
thank you, Carolyn. The other question I have pertains to top employers. I know that application is set to open on October 1st. Should we proceed with going ahead and starting marketing of that when the time comes, or would it be best to hold off?
I would go ahead and start marketing because, I mean, we still have the month of October. So go ahead and marketing. Thank you.
Okay, a couple more questions here in the chat. Will we send this recording out? Yes, we will send the recording out. And then what do we want the stakeholder meeting discussion focus to be in October, considering the transition?
That's a good question. Definitely, we want to talk about, we want to let them know we appreciate them serving and, just hang in there with us to see what will happen, and that we'll definitely keep them up to date. And we can kind of talk about that more because, it's kind of like the employers. I don't want them to fall off the radar either, because, if you do get the RFP, then you may want to keep your same stakeholders. So definitely, we'll keep them up to date, and we can talk more about the agenda.
Okay, and here's another question. We have a stakeholder meeting scheduled for next week. Carolyn, are you all saying that you want to speak at this meeting? It's the only one we'll have in October.
I don't have to, just maybe briefly say something, but not a whole lot. But if you would just kind of carve off some time for me to just be able to talk to them.
Okay. Okay, it's a virtual meeting, so I'll invite you to it.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe that's like an offline conversation. We have some other things proposed for the meeting, but
Okay.
you're
Perfect.
welcome to say a few words. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Are there any more questions? If not, we will close this out. We will make sure that we resend the transition plan template to you all, so it will be at the top of your inbox. We will send the recording. And again, if you need anything, if you have any other questions, please feel free to email us. And I think Samara has a question.
Mm-hmm.
And Samara, we can't hear you.
I think Samara's froze. There she is. Type it in the chat.
Okay, and Samara's question is, can we get a list of the report questions outside of the form? And are you talking about the final report, Samara?
Mm-hmm. Courtney, do you have a form?
Yeah, so that did go out as a separate document. I think it went to Sean, so I can I'll make sure to send it to you. Yeah.
Can I just clarify on the final report too? Courtney, I know the form that you sent out, that's what we've been working on. I thought that was due at the end of October, but what Stacy just previewed, there was another something that just said it was due December 31st. Is that the
Yes.
same final report, or are we preparing two different final reports here? Okay.
Nope, it is the same report. So technically, the final report's due 30 days after the contract ends. So we wanted to make sure to give you all the 30 days if you needed it. Totally fine if you want to submit it October 31st at any time between now and December 1st, I think it is. So same thing.
Okay.
So any more questions? If not, then I hope y'all all have a great weekend.
Happy Friday.
You too. Thank you.
All
Try
right,
to stay
bye-bye.
dry this weekend. Bye.
I stopped recording.